Hi, this is Matt Miano, Events Manager for the Town of Dillon. Welcome to the Dillon Dialogue. I'm sitting here with Mayor Kevin Burns and Council Member Ben Raitano. We're going to start today by introducing our new council member. Kevin, I'm going to let you do the honors.
Just happy to be here with our newest council member, Ben Raitano. As we, I believe, discussed in our last Dillon Dialogue, Ben was appointed to an open position that was created after I was elected mayor of Dillon, and after going through some resumes, having an interview process, we selected Ben to fill that position. And you've been on for what, about a month now, I think.
It's about a month, yes.
Yeah, and it's been great having you on, and I just thought this would be a great chance for folks to get to know you. So, how about Ben, to put you on the spot? How about you just tell us a little about yourself?
Hi, I'm Ben Raitano. Was a councilman for about 15 years before, town trustee before that. Been really involved in the town of Dillon for many years, and when the position came open after mayor was elected, I decided I would put my hat back in the ring. I was term limited the last time, and you have to wait at least 4 years before you can be reappointed or reelected. So just decided, and I'm very grateful that the other council members thought I had enough of experience and qualifications to become council member again.
And you said experience. I think I'm guessing town council is very excited to have that experience, back on.
Yeah, we're super excited about that experience component. You bring a lot of knowledge that we have a fairly young council, a lot of people who've been on for a couple of years, and it's great to have somebody who has some of that knowledge and expertise. In fact, actually, one of the things you briefly mentioned was that you were on council, and before that, you were a trustee. Can you explain to the folks what that difference is and why it was?
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, so, I think this
please,
is a good.
Yes, pray tell.
Well, there are several different types of towns in Colorado, and some are home rule and some are statutory. If you're a statutory town, you go by the state rules, state statutes, which is where it comes from. And the title for a council member of a statutory town is trustee. Once you become home rule or a larger city, you can become a council member.
Yeah.
So
you were involved during that transition time when we actually went from a statutory town to a home rule municipality.
Yes,
right? That's for anybody who follows these Dillon Dialogues,
right,
has probably heard us discuss various manners of code changes and looking at some of our rules. That we have a lot of that flexibility because we're a home rule municipality, which gives us a lot more freedom than as a statutory town.
Right. The difference between is the rules are. And the rules for a statutory town are created by the state.
Right.
And we have to follow those rules. If you're home rule, you have a charter, and you live by your own rules for the most part, unless it's a statewide issue.
Well, I would say that anybody who thinks of Dillon primarily thinks of a town that lives by its own rules. So.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you've been in Summit County, obviously, for more than just a few years.
32.
32. You got me by a couple. You're probably pretty close, though, aren't you?
I'm
I don't know.
Starting to get there.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not 32 yet, so we'll see where we'll get there.
Right, so I'm about halfway there, so we've got a little experience under our belts. Speaking about experience under our belts, moving on to the next topic, something I know we're all excited about, and we're going to speak a little bit about his experience. We have selected a new town manager.
Yeah, again in the last at our last council session, which took place between our last taping of the show and this one, we were able to select Tom Breslin to be our new town manager. I think everybody in council is incredibly excited to have him on board. 17-year county resident, currently the Clear Creek County Administrator, which is sort of the county version of a town manager. Before that, he worked at Keystone Resort for a lot of years. Brings a really great sort of depth of understanding, talking about depth of knowledge and sort of history. Right. He brings a lot of that understanding of what our side of the county has in terms of opportunities and challenges, and we're really strong grasp on what we the kind of person that we want in town, the kind of temperament, the kind of the sort of ability to be able to go out there and work with other people and find
Right.
opportunities for the town to grow. So I know we're super excited, and I think you actually you had some work experience with Tom, right? Back in the day.
When
Is
I
that-
was working, I was at Keystone. He was one of the managers I had to deal with. I was a electrician, and he was working on parking and road and bridge. So we always were crossing paths, doing various things to help him out.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I think we found we really like is that since we made that public announcement, it's amazing the number of people who've kind of come out and said, "Hey, great choice." We had these great working, whether it's some of the homeowner communities that were in Keystone or other folks who've interacted with Tom in other capacities to say, "Hey, this is a person who really knows how to get things done," and be able to kind of go out there into into the community and build those relationships.
The little bit that I've spent with him, the words that come to my mind is he seems very down to earth. That's the phrase that kind of stuck with me, and I know that I can speak for the rest of the staff. We're very excited to have Tom on board. I think he starts July the 7th. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I think that's the anticipated start date. So.
And so it's just nice, we've got Chief Hemminghouse in place, and now to have Tom as the town manager, I'm sure that you would agree that the town is poised for the future. We're ready to go.
Absolutely, it's been we got Ben on board, we got our new chief on board, we got new town manager on board, and it's well staffed, and we're ready to go. We're already talking about new events, new development opportunities, new relationships we can build, in the Dillon community, out in the wider community, and it's a pretty exciting time for the town, I think.
Cool. And if you want to hear more about what's exciting in the town, you'll have to stick around because we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. Matt Miano, Events Manager with the Town of Dillon, sitting here with Mayor Kevin Burns, Councilmember Ben Raitano. We were just talking about the future before the commercial break, and I know that last week we held a retreat for Town Council involving economic development. Do you guys want to fill us in on that?
Yeah, so one of the things, and this has been a theme of Dillon Dialogues for probably since before I was on town council, and for forever and ever has been economic development in the town of Dillon, particularly the town core area, what people think it was downtown Dillon.
Right.
We decided to make it a priority to have a retreat specifically on economic development, and really specifically on that town core area, that downtown that we're all looking to try to see sort of re-energized a little bit. We had a great discussion. It was facilitated by Carrie McCool, who's an economic development consultant, and who we've been working with over the last 6 or so months.
Okay.
And it was a great opportunity for the council to really be able to come together and start talking about, really talk about what is our vision for the town core area. What do our guiding documents really have to say about that vision? We have a comprehensive plan. We have people always talk about all the studies that we've done. We do have a lot of studies, a lot of really good studies that have a lot of information in them. And how can we synthesize all of that and come up with some steps that we can take to do something interesting?
Sure. Actual action items.
Yeah, exactly. So we wanted to have that sit down and be like, all of that. There's been a lot of councils that have done a lot of great work in kind of building this base of what do we need to do to sort of move forward. And now now all this material's here, how do we use it to do stuff? Yeah. And I think that this is certainly a council that is interested in sort of community input and taking community-oriented actions. So a lot of what we really got excited about was the idea of tapping into the expertise of our community, building out committees, and getting folks to sort of from the ground up come up with things that we can do with the town core area. To that end, one of the biggest pieces one of the biggest directions that we decided to take was the formation of some additional citizen committees. We created 4 committees. The governance committee, which actually we say citizen committee. That one's actually going to be made up of council members, okay, because it's talking about sort of looking at the overall structure of these committees and how they work together.
Gotcha.
And then we're going to be developing a marketing committee specifically to as I say, tap into those to that citizen creativity on the marketing aspect of the town, both in terms of how do you put the town out there, how do you work with other businesses, what other kind of collaborative opportunities exist that we could be taking advantage of. We have an economic development committee currently. We're going to be looking at how to better get input from them. We have a lot of great folks on that committee, really insightful, smart folks with good business experience. And how do we make sure that that there's good recommendations coming out of that committee that we can use? They've on their own, they've come up with some great stuff. Some weighing in on some parking issues that we've had. They've weighed in on some recommendations on ordinances and allowed uses in the town core area that we've advice that we've taken, and we've made changes to our code based on that, on some of those committees' recommendations. Most recently, as a result of that parking, we dropped our payment in lieu fee, which
I remember talking about that. I think it was with you and Louie.
Yeah, and that's these are things that come out of those committee processes. So we want to be able to strengthen that process, have those lines of communication open between the public and these committees and these councils, and hopefully all work together to come up with great stuff that the town can do. The last committee out of this sort of 4-committee setup that we're looking at is a design committee, and we're really excited about that one. That's a lot of when people think of how do you do things in a town core, how do you kind of generate excitement, how do you find fun stuff to do? Design is really the key on that. Or you look at one of the intersections of Lake Dillon Drive, and we want a committee that can go out there and say, what are the possibilities here? The town owns this land, or can we partner with some of the existing landowners? Can we put up pop-up shops? Can we put in, even if it's just as simple as putting in some picnic tables? Can we find some space for vendor carts? Are there possibilities for street art? There's a lot, one of the reasons we want these committees is there's probably people that are smarter than me out there that can come up with some more of these ideas.
Never. I don't believe that for a second, man.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
It's always good to get the public's opinion, because we are really doing this for the people of the town. If we don't really get in there and get the people of the town involved, we don't want them to think that we're just doing this stuff and not being concerned about their ideas and their
Ben,
responses.
a question I was going to ask you. So we're talking about all these committees, and the mayor mentioned that we already have an economic development committee. I'm to understand that is an economic development advisory committee. Is that how all of these are structured? They are advisory committees that brainstorm things and then bring them back to town council?
That's the way they have to be structured, because you need to have the codes and and actually the financial problems done by the council. We can't have those done by committee. They have to, by ordinance, they have to be done by the council.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think that's what that's why people have elected us to go and make some of those decisions and be able to be stewards over our town budget and be responsible for our code, and so that ultimately enacting a lot of that stuff has to fall on our shoulders. But advisory committees are a fantastic way to generate those ideas, to be able to make those recommendations to council that if we're all working on the same page, there are going to be things that we'll be able to enact in timely manners and be able to get some stuff done and hopefully get some folks excited about what's going on in the town of Dillon. So I think council came away pretty excited about some of the opportunity that awaits us in the near future, medium term future, and in our long term future. We're really looking for things that the town can actually do. As I said, we appreciate. Before I was on council, I've probably voiced this, and certainly you hear it, is you always look at, you're always, you can talk about stuff, but you have to find things you can actually do. Sure. And I think that we have a council that's really committed to, really look at, whether it's economic development or anything else, really taking a serious, hard look at stuff and figuring out what do we have the resources to do, what do we have the capability to do, and then going out and doing it.
I was going to say, too, I know that a lot of folks will not exactly see this episode in time, but tomorrow there's actually a community chat schedule, and we've been doing those quarterly. And I think those are great opportunities. Why don't you explain exactly what goes on at the community chat?
Yeah, so community chat we've been doing for probably half a year now, I think,
Okay.
maybe a little bit longer, and those are again kind of what we're talking about, trying to get that community input and community buy-in on stuff. Where it's a really informal process. We just come to town hall at the designated date and time. You'll have a council there. There's usually one or two folks from staff present, and we just sit around in a circle and chat. Like, it's literally what it sounds like. There's no set agenda. We're just there to listen and communicate with constituents who come, whether you're a resident, a visitor, a business owner. You know, we're happy to have conversations with anybody. It's less about trying to sort of drive discussion by discussing sort of upcoming agenda items than it is to just to really hear what's on folks' mind, whether they have a concern about something that's going on, an idea they're excited about that they think that would be great for the town of Dillon. If they have, you know, questions that range from the policy oriented to the very technical. We always get some question about plowing or road maintenance at some point. So, and that's usually a good reason to have Scott O'Brien there. He can usually explain that. But it's
not quite in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I don't. You know, I admit I am not. I do not have the background as somebody who builds the roads or or plows them. So, but it's very low key. People always ask, like, well, is there a formal process that goes on here? And it's completely not. It's just, we really do just sit around and chat, and that's it can be hard for folks to find access to all their elected representatives at various times, and this seems to be one of the most easy, direct ways to be able to get in contact with everybody who's elected in the town of Dillon.
And get direct feedback from you, the council members.
It's a great opportunity for any of the citizens, or even non-citizens, anybody who's interested in the town of Dillon, to come and just give your opinion on stuff, or if you have a question, you can ask us questions. I mean,
exactly.
If you can't, we welcome questions, we welcome comments, because we need to know we're going in the direction everybody would like to see.
And I will say again, those happen quarterly. If you go to the website www.townofdillon.com, you can look at the calendar and see when the next one will be. And they are all held at Town Hall, so please do join us for those. Speaking of joining us for things, it is, what's the date today? I'm not sure exactly what the date is because my head is spinning because it is event season. We did have our first farmers market last Friday. Ben, what are you excited about this summer?
Oh, I'm excited about some of the things. The farmers market's always great. Very nice people there, great people. A lot of locals go there. We can meet people I haven't seen in a while, and you can see that things. I'm excited, of course, of all our events. The air show that we just had last weekend was awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of people in town. Everybody seemed to enjoy it. Great place for families to come. Yeah. Next event is, I think, the beer fest, and that's not quite a family thing, but we can.
I was going to throw that one over to the mayor and let him chat about the beer fest.
Okay.
That one is coming up on June the 21st.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. You have kind of one last weekend of being able to get things organized before you have just constant events all the time. Hopefully, right?
We actually do have a concert on Friday the 13th. If you have the opportunity to make it down to the amphitheater, it is the 101st Army Dixieland Band. That one's kind of a warm up tonight, actually. So again, go to the calendar because this stuff is ongoing all summer long. But every Tuesday and Wednesday, starting tonight, we've got dancing at the amphitheater. Tuesdays are swing dancing. Wednesday is country dancing. All free. They'll take a donation, but great community building events. Go out, see some folks you haven't seen, and then starting on the 20th, 21st with the beer festival, we get extremely busy. Yeah,
and that's that's one of those events that's really a partnering effort. It's the Dillon Business Association is kind of the lead on that particular piece, and they've done a fantastic job bringing in breweries from around the state. I think they've created an environment that makes both the vendors and attendees all want to come back. If you go to some of those brew fests around the state, it can be crowded, it can be overstuffed, not a pleasant experience. A lot of times you're just on hot pavement. It's not really what you want.
There's not much of a better setting, I don't think, for a beer festival.
Yeah, they do a great job sort of planning out the number of people that we want there at the brew fest. The setting is phenomenal. Marina Park, for everybody who comes down to the amphitheater, knows exactly what we're talking about. Actually being out on out next to the water, beautiful views. You're in a grassy area. There's nice, there's shaded spots. It's not just baking
and
in the hot
if
sun.
you're not familiar with what Kevin is referring to, you should become, because the mayor knows his stuff. And Marina Park is an awesome, terrific venue, just above the amphitheater. 7 o'clock that evening, the samples will be playing. And again, that really cranks things up. You mentioned the partnership. So as the summer goes along, Friday we partner with the Dillon Business Association. On Saturday nights, we partner with the Lake Dillon Theater Company. Their concerts really kick in the following week. Around the 4th of July, we have a concert the 27th, the 28th, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th. So if you're looking for something to do, check us out on Facebook. Everything is there. Check us out at townofdillon.com. We will expect to see you at everything.
I'll
Ben,
be there.
you too.
Yes, we will be there.
What's great about the programming, both the Brew Fest and then, as you mentioned, all that 4th of July programming, is that there's really truly something for everyone. We have country bluegrass acts. 4th of July we have a great 80s sort of
the Goonies.
nostalgia band. That's right up my alley. Certainly, I'm super excited for that. We have we have great cover bands that are coming in this summer. We have everything from sort of classic rock, funk, R&B, soul, country, bluegrass. As I said. We have some of those sort of more nostalgia acts, contemporary stuff, local groups, just really. If you're, regardless of what your tastes are, at some point in the summer, you're going to find an awesome free show at this great venue.
Oh yeah, it's all free. We forgot to mention, come on down, because it is free entertainment, and it truly does run the gamut. I know that Ben mentioned the family-friendly stuff. On the 4th of July, that falls on a Friday this year, so the farmers market will be going on. But you talk about family-friendly. We're going to have a bounce house. One of those big inflatable slides. I don't know even what you call all that stuff, but I know that my kids are excited already.
Yeah, we'll see Ben probably on the slide.
Yeah, they got the we're getting one of those. I think it's called the European bungee, and this stuff is all free as well. We're the town is putting this on. We're really excited to hopefully get a lot more folks out, and so maybe we could get Ben, the mayor, a few other folks. There's 4 of the bungee things.
That could be good.
Bungee things is the official term.
Right, that's the technical term for that.
But we'll get you guys all on there, and then maybe we can splice some of the footage into the next Dillon Dialogue. So
that would be a terrifying concept.
Jam-packed summer starting up here pretty soon. I do want to thank Ben and the mayor for joining us. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the Dillon Dialogue.